Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dina, bringing another daily dose. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you have prayed and prayed and prayed for God to remove the situation, change the situation, whatever that might be, heal the situation, and you find that nothing is changing? More times than not, you're going to be able to really see, if you're pressing in and asking Him, that it's you that He wants to change. Not that you're the one that's causing the situation. There's been plenty times in my life that I wasn't the one that was actually causing the pain, but He does want to transform you through it. More times than not, He is not going to remove that situation if there's character in you that needs to be developed. So I have found more times than not that that's my situation. He was able to use the situations in my life that actually were the most challenging and the most difficult to bring out the best character in me. Now, you would think in the natural that typically brings out the worst character, and most times it does if you're not seeking God to help you see that differently. And for many years, I was not seeking Him to change me or to help me see it through His eyes. I just saw it through my own lens. I created my own narrative around it. I created my own story. Some of it I felt like was true. A lot of it was just my interpretation of what was happening or what the person was doing. Most of the time, we never really truly know someone's intentions because only they know that. Only God knows that. We look at what somebody says or does to us and we just assume that we know what they're trying to do. And so many times I was incorrect on someone's intention. But even those times where it was very obvious that somebody was trying to sabotage or trying to betray, God still did not remove that situation from me. What He ended up doing is radically transforming my character so that I could see that person through His eyes. Because most times, I've said this before, when somebody hurts you or does something to you, it has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with their inner man, the trauma that they have dealt with that they haven't worked through. Again, on this channel, I'm going to tell you it's so important to do your own inner healing in the work that you have to do, because if we don't, then we could be used as the enemy's weapon to hurt somebody else. Subconsciously, we're not even realizing that that's what's happening. But if you're stuck in your own fear and your own trauma and your own pain, and you're looking at it through that lens, then you are going to be used to hurt somebody else out of your own pain. So many times we control a situation to avoid pain, but we end up causing pain to somebody else. That happened to me so much in my life. One of the things I've realized is that, especially if there's a situation that I've been praying for a long time and it hasn't changed, more than likely it's because God is trying to change me in that situation. He very rarely will just take the situation out of my life. He will transform me through that and build the character that is necessary for me to become the person that He created me to be. So I never would have thought that my journey as a mom or a wife God would have used those situations, especially being a special needs mom or a mom in extreme parenting situations. I have 5 children, and 4 are adults now and out of the house, and 𝗀cie is my special needs child. She's still in the house, but I've had extreme situations with all of them. It wasn't just a special needs situation. And God used all of that to create the character in me, to develop me, to, show me the areas of my life that were not pleasing to Him and not pleasing to my children. And I had to work through all of that. He was able to build the character in me. So it was like the difficult situations were what molded me to be who I am today. God is more concerned about whether your soul is prospering, whether your spirit is prospering than your life, than the circumstances in your life. So if you find yourself like, why will this not end? It's more than likely because He's trying to do something in you. And the more resistant we are, the longer it goes on. And that was definitely my case. The longer I was resistant to it, or the more I wanted to point out the speck in somebody else's eye versus pulling out the plank in my own eye, the more that God would continue to just press in and try to show me the areas of my life that needed to change. Now, again, this does not say that the person that was hurting me didn't need to also change. But God is not concerned about somebody else when I'm the one asking Him about the situation. If you're seeking God, then He's going to work on you. And a lot of times it's not the way you think it's going to be. He's creating something in you through the trial. So it's kind of like when you look at the story of the statue of David and how the sculptor Michelangelo created him. He had a lump of clay or a lump of stone. And what he did when he created David is he chipped away at everything that didn't represent David, that didn't look like David until David was revealed. He picked and chipped and pulled away everything that was not supposed to be David. And then when he was done, David was revealed. So God will do that in our lives, and he will put us in a situation. I don't know if he ever even puts us in a situation. He allows it. He allows something because it will reveal who we truly are. I would say that the situations in my life that have been the most negative really revealed my true character, and a lot of times it wasn't good. And so now, if there's a difficult situation, because of what I've learned, I know how to navigate that using, the tools that God has given me and operating in partnership with Holy Spirit, or I'm operating in the fruits of the Spirit. Now, I'm not saying that's always the same all the time. There's plenty of times that I'm not acting in kindness or gentleness or self-control. I'm not in peace and joy in the midst of my difficult circumstances. And this is a daily journey that we work out our salvation and we work out our faith. But most of the time, I can now recognize, okay, this is not something that is serving me or this person or the situation, and I can transform it. I could choose to do that because I've walked this journey and I know what it's like to try to do things on my own, in my own strength, and being stuck in this mindset that I want to be right, or or even just stuck in this unforgiveness of somebody hurting you. Forgiveness isn't for you. I'm sorry, forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for you. It's to give you freedom over that situation. So yes, there's been a lot of times in my life where people have hurt me and things have been said that have caused me to respond in a negative way or to hold on to that pain. But God will, if you seek him, he will show you what you asked him. I wanted to see things through his eyes. When things don't change and I've exhausted all the efforts that I have, then I know that it's time to say, okay, God, what is it you're trying to show me in this situation? Okay, because again, most times people that hurt you, it's not even about you. It's about them. It's about their unhealed trauma. It's about the things that they haven't worked through yet. And so, I want to be able to see it through the eyes of God. I don't want to see it through my situation, because when I'm trying to do this in my own strength, I'm always going to fail. I'm always going to falter, and I'm going to end up in stress and striving, or I'm going to end up in a negative mindset, which ends up turning into a negative atmosphere. And, it just continues like a snowball effect. So if I'm finding myself in seasons where there's a lot of difficulty, I ask God to show me what is in it that I need to change, my character that needs to change. And that is not something that the world will take. They don't receive that very well. Most of the time, people want to blame somebody else. They want to fight back. They want to be right. And that's a very humbling thing to have to say, God, where am I in the situation that I need to change? What is in me that needs to change? How can I view this person through your eyes and love them with your heart? So remember, when you're in a difficult situation, more times than not, God is trying to develop your character, because he cares more about your character, your soul thriving, than your situation thriving. So when your character is transformed, that's what has to happen first. When your character gets transformed, then your circumstances more than likely will follow that. There's a scripture in Proverbs. It says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever we're thinking our situation is going to be that. So we need to think about what we want our situation to be. We need to think about who we want to be in that situation. If you're thinking about your situation as negative, then it is going to be negative. If you're thinking about the pain in your situation, is going to be that way. If you're thinking about how God can radically transform you in that situation, and you're thinking about your situation from his perspective and how you want it to be, then it'll transform into that way. Okay, so the words we say and the thoughts we have are very powerful. They contribute to what our reality is. And so anyway, I just wanted to leave you guys with that. I hope this encourages you, that if you are in a season where it seems like God is silent or he's just not answering it, look from a different perspective and see, what is he trying to do in you? Because he is trying to build something in you. And he might just be using your journey as a special needs mom, or a situation in your marriage that may be struggling, to develop the character in you to be stronger, to be more resilient, or maybe to even be able to help somebody else. So don't always look at it like it's something that's meant to harm you or to hurt you. God will always use every situation for your good. He will always turn it around for your good. He will always give you beauty for ashes in your situation. So anyway, again, I just hope this encourages you. Share this with somebody that could really use that. Just remind them that they're not alone. Thank you for being a part of this family and this journey. And just do all the things, share, like, subscribe, all that, so that we can reach more people. And I thank you so much for going on this journey with me. The creator of the universe is obsessed with you, and he loves you, and I love you, and I can't wait for us to be together again. Have an awesome day.